Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's meeting of the Personnel Committee. I would like to advise everyone present that should the fire alarm sound, you should leave the building immediately via one of the fire exits, which are clearly signposted. The fire assembly point is in the car park. You should not return to the building for any reason until you have been advised it is safe to do so. Can I please remind everyone to put your mobile phones on silent mode and put the phone away for the duration of the meeting, avoiding interference from your iPad or with the microphone. The meeting will be recorded and live streamed on YouTube, and therefore, when speaking, please remember to speak clearly. As the chair of the meeting, I have the discretion to terminate or suspend recording and live streaming if, in my opinion, continuing to do so would prejudice the proceeding of the meeting. Recording and live streaming of confidential items will also not take place. To alert me as the chair of the meeting that you would like to speak, please raise your hand and wait for me to call upon you before speaking. Please remember, if you leave the meeting for any reason, you will not be able to take part in the vote on the item that's being discussed at that time. Members of the public will be able to view the live stream of the meeting via YouTube. Please can I request that when speaking, you make your points as succinct as possible to allow for the smooth running of the meeting. Can I also take this opportunity to remind you to be polite and treat each other with respect at all times. Thank you. On to the agenda. Do we have any apologies from the committees? I believe Federica Smith-Roberts has sent her apologies. Thank you very much. And do we have any declarations of interest from the members on the items on the agenda? Take that as a no from everybody present. Moving on to item 3, minutes of the previous meeting. Has everyone had a chance to have a look at them? And if so, are you happy that they're an accurate record? Okay. No questions on the minutes?
Nope.
Do I have someone to propose that we accept them? Councillor Furman, thank you very much. And do we have a seconder?
I wasn't here, so I probably shouldn't.
I am personally happy to second that. Second that proposal, and I will find those as an accurate record of the meeting. Much. Everyone's going to move away on that. Sorry. So moving on to agenda item 4, which is the forward plan for the personnel committee, which is for us to note. Would any of the officers like to run through anything?
There was a slight change. We had put the employee recognition for this committee, but it wasn't quite ready. So we've moved it to the next personnel committee.
Absolutely, that's fine. I was going to ask, at what point do we look at budget setting for this committee? Because I'm aware that budget setting is going to go down to committee level before going back to full council. When have we scheduled that in for us to look at as a committee?
Donna's just come off mute, so I don't know if she's going to jump in.
Donna, can I pass to you? Thank you.
You are on the schedule to come in, so it'll be your next personnel committee meeting that the budgets will be on there for the staffing.
So that would be the 4th of December?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm aware that we definitely need to review the budget for the new workforce and ever expanding workforce for next year, because I know it's intended to be larger next year again. So that would be good to get that firmly on the agenda. Thank you. Councillor Furman.
Is there any documentation or things we should look into, really preparing for, us discussing the budget so we're best informed?
Donna, when will paperwork be ready?
So I'm sitting down with Gail next week. We've got more or less got a first draft of proposed budget. But yeah, as soon as we've got something in for staffing commitments, then we will send that out to the personnel committee for you to have a look at in advance of the next committee meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If everyone's happy, we'll just note that forward plan. Moving on to item 5, organisational development progress. Nikki, do you like to give us a quick summary?
course. So it's more of an update really. And this report basically looks at two things we're doing at the moment as part of our organisational development plan, which is the skills audit, which is well underway at the moment. So we've met with all the services and we've designed a template for them all to use. Each service has an individual, they're slightly different per service, and then we're going to be sending an individual skills audit form out to employees, and the purpose of this is to identify skills gaps, and hopefully that will help us inform our training budget and what we need moving forward. The second part of the update is about our employee values, which are well and truly live now. So we've trying to put them on all our internal documents. We've incorporated them into our development and performance reviews, and hopefully we're going to get some signage on the walls in our offices.
Really good to hear. Thank you very much. I know that there has been a skills audit for counsellors. Roughly how good has it been? Oh, is there a percentage you can give me for the response?
So we've had 6 response so far.
Okay. Because I'm aware that obviously there will be training needs for counsellors. So that would be good to prompt the council to return that for you. Thank you very much. I think between Tom and myself as certainly group leaders, we can pick them up.
The leaders should probably do it themselves as well.
Thank you for your
Yeah, I'll be
honesty, Councillor Deacon. Okay, yeah, no, it all looks really sensible. What's the timescale for getting this done?
In terms of the skills audit, we're pushing that through over the next month, really. So we've met with all the managers now. Individual forms will be going out, and managers can meet with their employees as well with their one-to-ones, input all that into the table, and then hopefully, as I say, that will inform the budget moving forward, and it's going to be an annual review of that as well.
So it'll feed into the budget planning for this year, and then I assume inform a programme of training January onwards or April onwards.
It will probably be April onwards, I imagine, unless we've got some budget left over. And then that's why we planned it in when we have, because that's when the budget setting is going to take place. So.
That's the beginning.
Thank you. Yeah, on the skills audit as well. So I assume it's not anonymised, so you'll know if someone fills it in, which member of the team has filled it in. I'm sure this is happening already, but can we just encourage people to be just as honest as possible? There's like no judgment about where you think you might have a skills gap. If anything, I would be more concerned if I saw a form from someone who said I have no skills gaps, because I don't think that's an honest reflection. No one. There's always something that everyone can work on at some point in time, and I think that it will, as you say, really help us make sure that then we help fill gaps. If people aren't honest, we won't know where the gaps are, and therefore they'll never get filled. So I think just honesty, and there'll be absolutely no judgment alongside that. It's going to be paramount to this being successful. Otherwise, we won't get an honest output of where we are.
Are there any further questions on that report?
They say the patch thing's really cool. I like that. It's great, and that was co-created by the team, wasn't it? Yeah, cool.
Fantastic. The recommendation is to note the progress. Do we need to vote on noting it? I think we agree that it's.
Yeah.
I'm looking around to just double check that we don't need to actually vote on noting it. It just has been noted. But thank you very much for the work that you've put in so far, and looking forward to seeing the results when it's done. Item 6, the Employee Assistance Programme Review. Again, I think we're handing back to Nikki to just give us an overview of the report.
Okay, I think in the last personnel committee, actually, it was raised, wasn't it, of the importance of an employee assistance programme. It's absolutely essential to us, and actually in the report, Bryony and I, when we pulled it together, we recognise that some of our applicants for roles have been asking about whether we have an employee assistance programme, and there's been occasions when we have needed to signpost employees where it would have been really handy if we'd have had our an employee assistance programme to rely on. So what we are asking you to consider is that we've looked at a range of employee assistance programme suppliers, so fairly basic, low cost, and we've also included some employee assistance programme suppliers who also offer, as part of a bundle, an employee benefits platform as well. And what that means is that employees for the council will be able to access a platform that has a range of benefits, which might mean you discounted rates on things, or you can buy gift cards, for example. And when you buy a gift card and it has the value of £100, you only pay £90 for the gift card, and you could use that in supermarkets. So there's a massive range of employee discounts. Again, that there's the sort of lower end of that, which is the My Staff Shop option, but that goes right up to Perkbox, which was actually the most expensive per employee, but is sort of the gold-plated one. That Perkbox option, which has the EAP and the platform, also has a recognition scheme within there, a celebration hub it's called, and it means that managers can award points to their employees, and those points equate to basically spending vouchers within the platform. So there's a real range there, 5 sort of to have a look at, and it's just really his appetite is for that.
And I just wanted to establish, especially for anyone who's watching at home, that the employee assistance programme, the focus is on health and wellbeing, mental health services, wellbeing services, counselling services, that kind of thing. And the benefits package is as you said, kind of staff discount essentially scheme that people can access, similar to a blue card scheme.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I had a look through these earlier. There are a few different options. Has everyone had a chance to look through the options? Has anyone got any initial comments on the options available? Councillor Furman.
Yes. First, they're a company that work with the school that I work at, Bishop Foxes, and they seem to do quite a good job of finding that sort of confidential service that sometimes staff need just when things get a bit too much, and it seems to work well for Bishop Foxes School. So I think it probably would be quite good for Taunton Town as well.
I have to say I've got experience with My Staff Shop, which is the service used by Somerset Council for its staff. I have to say I'm not sure whether that I don't know if they use the wellbeing package. I've a feeling they use a different company for the wellbeing package. But as a staff benefit package, it's very accessible and really useful. So I have a good experience with that, and was surprised at how cheap it was compared to some of the other options. But I understand it may not have all of the extras some of the more expensive schemes do.
So Donna's just got her hand up. I don't know. So,
Yeah, Donna.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to carry on your discussion first, but there was just a few follow-up comments that obviously I just wanted to make. As it was noted earlier, that we're going to look to bring the staff reward scheme, and the Perkbox option gives us a platform to being able to enable the point system, which would form part of the staff reward scheme as well. And just one thing just to bear in mind, obviously, staff are one of the council's biggest assets. And therefore, when we broke down the costs of it, I don't know if Nikki wants to run through the costs there with the options for benefits of the members at home that could be listening.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So, I mean, starting with Care First, the cost per employee is £23.75 per year. WorkNest, which again just provides employee assistance program, is £45.72 per year. My Staff Shop, if you wrap up the employee assistance program and the employee discount scheme, it's £60 per employee per year. Terryberry, again with EAP and the employee discount, is £112.50 per employee per year, and Perkbox is £115.20 per employee per year.
And is per employee per year, is that based on a fixed cost based on the number of employees we have at the moment, or is that does that scale up as we get more employees?
Perkbox,
I say so for any of them.
so Care First is that price for up to 100 employees.
Okay.
So it will go down as we get
Get more
bigger.
employees, bigger,
Yeah,
okay.
up until that 100 employee mark. I think the rest of them are no, WorkNest was annual. My Staff Shop, yeah, that was cost per employee.
Mhm.
Terryberry was a cost based on our number at the moment, up to 100 employees. And Perkbox again was a set price based on how many employees we had, I believe. £8 per employee per month. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because we're making a decision now on a certain level of our workforce, but that will change. So it just depends which ones are fixed rate
Yeah.
and which ones are employee per month or per year.
So Perkbox would go up per employee, but Terryberry would stay fixed. My Staff Shop would go up as well. But next and Care First would pretty much stay fixed.
But 100.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. I know it's very hard to compare
Yeah.
because they're not all exactly like for like packages.
Sorry, can I just say one other thing, that we've looked at the staffing budgets as well, and we have got some surplus left in the budget for this year that would incorporate the cost of the scheme.
I'm assuming that would incorporate the setup, but that's not budgeted for next year yet, is it?
No, but it would be, if it was adopted, then it would be incorporated in the budget for next year. But there is money left in the staffing budget for this year, which would pay for this year as well.
Yeah, I'm just aware. I don't know. I haven't looked at the staffing budget recently, but I don't know how much surplus there is because there was a delay in taking on staff members, or whether that's masked by the fact we had people that have left and there were gaps in service, whether that caused a surplus. So I'd just be interested to see where exactly the surplus has come from, whether we've just underspent because staff are cheaper or because we just hadn't taken on as many staff, in which case it is only a surplus for this year rather than what should be projected for next year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that is correct. It's because we've staggered the start dates for staff members.
Yeah. So our projected for next year should still be fixed. We should know what that is, even if we've got a slight surplus from this year caused by those delays or slight gaps.
Is it, sorry, is it a year at a time that you contract these services? So which, if we agree it will be tied into 12 months, then there's an opportunity to review. And
It depends on who you go with. So in there I've put some of them are for a year. I think the Perkbox is 24 months.
Terryberry is 2 to 3 years. Oh, no, 12 months.
It's 12 months, 2 years or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, sorry, yeah, so you have. So all I'm thinking is, I think Perkbox sounds really good. Since the only hesitation I have is because I can understand that the Celebration Hub will be beneficial in it. I'd almost like us to try what that award thing looks like for a year before we then invest in a platform that formalizes that. I think because we'll want to get it right and learn, I think, about how that works. So I'm almost tempted to say, well, so I agree with the principle that we should offer something that has the EAP and discounts. So I think, I mean, that kind of joint principle I absolutely agree with. The only difference I can really see between My Staff Shop and Perkbox is that Celebration Hub side of things, which I suspect over the next 12 months we could find another way of doing that, and then we can always formalize it through a nice platform if we wanted to in a year's time.
There's a difference in price between, say, My Staff Shop at £48
Maybe
per
60.
employee.
60.
Oh, sorry, 60.
Yeah,
So
for the-
one is
yeah.
60. It's essentially double the price. Yes, it's an extra £60 per
Quite a
employee a
lot.
year. Would we get sick with the staff? Get that
Yeah, £60 worth of benefit, yeah.
Also, the other thing that I just wanted to clarify in terms of rewards for staff, once we look at going down that route, have you, and I know obviously that we're not discussing that package now, but there is an implication if we're basing our choice of package now on a staff reward programme, for example, with Perk Box, if staff get rewards points through Perk Box, is there a tax implication for that?
I picked that one up because you covered it.
Well, we went
Yeah.
through it with Gail, didn't we? The finance, the deputy RFO and finance, and there wasn't in the same way, you know, when you have, I think there is a cap of £25, I want to say, that, please correct me if I've got
No,
that bit
you're
wrong,
right.
we spoke about it a lot. So if we were going to bring a recognition scheme in and we wanted to give a monetary reward or a voucher or anything like that, up to £25, there's no tax implications. And after that,
Is that per year?
yes, per year, sorry.
Yeah.
But with this, there's no tax implications in the same
If
way.
it's a sort of reward being, essentially, it's not cash, it's a discount opportunity, actually.
Yeah, and it's all done within the system, and it's very auditable. Gail was saying as well, wasn't she, when she spoke through it?
And is there an additional cost to us rewarding staff with extra tokens or points within this scheme beyond the cost of the package?
No, not in Perk Box that I'm aware
Okay.
of.
Is it essentially unlimited, or is there a limit to how much you can allocate to staff? Yeah.
No, but you would be paying that, wouldn't you? I think that's the point. So you would still be paying for that reward.
That's what- yeah, is-
inside.
yeah, is
so
there-
there's no limit to that?
Is there an extra, yeah, what's the extra cost to the council? Because obviously, yes, there's a package there, it's £115 per employee per year.
Yes.
If there is a reward scheme that is on, in addition to that, it's not, we get a certain number of points to award. It's an extra service that we would pay for.
I understand that everybody that is it, so all employees get per year about £20 just given in points for being part of this.
Yeah.
In terms of the reward, if we were buying beans or points or whatever
Yeah.
they're called, we would we would have to pay for those.
Right.
But the difference is that there wouldn't have those tax implications.
Okay. Just trying to bottom out all of the things that we need to consider to work at which is the best one. And I'm aware, obviously, we're not looking at the employee reward scheme at the moment, but it just has knock-on effects. Bearing, depending on what we decide today. Throw it back to the committee for any other thoughts before I ramble on myself. Councillor Vernon?
Yeah, I don't know, trying to go through all the sort of reward stuff feels a little bit complicated for just jumping into it. Again, I don't know whether we can just go back to, one of the cheaper, simpler ones, try that for a year. And if it's not used that much, try and go for a different one that does do the rewards.
I would like to suggest that, I think Councillor Deacon's already said that he's in favour of having a scheme that does have a staff benefit package as well as the others. Councillor Lees, Councillor Furman, would you be in agreement with that? Just to cut out the two providers that only offer the assistance package, because that narrows down the selection.
Okay. Yes.
Some nodding in the room.
Yeah.
So I think we can agree to put Care First and Work Nest to one side.
Yep.
And that pursuing an option that does have a staff benefit package is definitely what we would like. There, the jumping cost is quite remarkable. I don't know the other two schemes well enough to know what they offer. And I know per employee, it's not a massive amount per year, but it adds up a bit once you get once the workforce gets larger. So based on current workforce numbers, based on current workforce numbers.
Yeah, so I've done it up to 40. So I've done
Up to 40. Okay, so that makes sense. So perk box, the annual cost will be £4,608 per year for this scheme, not including any staff reward top-ups. 4,500 for Terry Berry for the same number of staff. And then my staff shop is £1,920 per year, but plus a £500 setup fee. One-off additional cost, but after that, £1,920 a year. So even at £2,100 for the first year, still £2,000 less than the other two. But I am aware, in the grand scheme of things, in terms of the size of our workforce and what we're spending on the workforce, these sums are still
there.
pretty minimal.
I was just working out, so even the 4,600 one as a proportion of our overall budget as a council, it's 0.07%. It's just, it's a very small slither.
I need to ask the staff in the room, do you have a personal preference for the one that you think would that you feel either most comfortable with in terms of the way that it's operated, the way that the way that it works as a staff interface, and what you think which you think you would prefer as a member of staff to have?
I'm quite happy to give an opinion first, but Nikki definitely knows the details better than I do.
Yeah.
I think it's recognised that we've got lower end of the pay scale employees that would really benefit from the financial discounts offered, and not necessarily just the kind of vouchers and discounts, but things like, I know one of them specifically has mentioned gym things, anything like that that's going to bring benefit without any additional cost, I think is going to be welcomed. I have used my staff shop before. I've not used Perk Box, so I don't have the same level of knowing how it works, but it does feel like quite a lot more of a modern, accessible platform. I think that they've got things like an app. It's an app, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I can imagine people using it more. That's my opinion on it. Nikki, disagree with me?
No, I've used my staff shop, being a SWT ex-employee, and Terry Berry in my previous employer, and I think regardless of what we go for, it will be more utilised having one platform than if we just did employee assistance over here and then this over here. My staff shop, I don't think it's as easy to sort of brand as our own. I know Terry Berry and Perk Box, you can also attach your own employee benefit schemes too. So for example, you can link the platform to Peninsula Pensions, for example, and it's really easy for employees to land on that page and access. I've had a look around Terry Berry and Perk Box. They're both lovely, as is my staff shop. But Perk Box is definitely, like I said, the gold standard. So in terms of the recognition, I think it's fantastic, and it's a real way round issues that have been very difficult in previous employees. How can we give some sort of monetary reward? But to be honest, any of the three I'd be happy with, because it's a great benefit to employees.
No, that's thank you for being honest. It's good to know that you've had experience of at least two of them. I don't know if anyone here has had any experience with Perk Box. I don't want to leave you out.
Decisions. Does Donna have a view?
Donna, yeah, do you have any strong feelings on the options presented?
I think, yeah, they are good options. I think if we are looking to bring in the staff reward scheme, having the tax implications taken away, because as they mentioned earlier, I think it was £25 per year for staff, and then obviously you've got the tax issues that then go with it. To have it in a platform that people wouldn't have those tax implications as well, it would be more of a beneficial for them. And I think the Perk Box, obviously it gives you that platform to be able to initiate that programme afterwards, if that gets agreed obviously at the next council meeting.
I did note that they specified in their wellbeing package, they specify 50-minute sessions, whereas some of the other ones were only 30-minute sessions. So just in terms of that wellbeing side of things, it seems a little bit more generous.
When would you look to set up whatever platform?
I think we said it was about a 6-week lead-in, didn't we? When we,
Depending on the supplier,
yeah.
yeah, it's around 6 weeks.
And is I'm very familiar with the My Staff Shop. Is the employee discount scheme broadly similar? Is it essentially high street and supermarket?
Yeah.
Well-known brand.
Yes,
It's similar things.
yes.
Okay. Councillor Furman.
I guess I propose we go for perk box.
I am not what I thought I was going to say, but I am happy to second that. It's a 24-month contract. We can review it part of the way through and see how it's going. And if it's either underused or isn't suiting our purposes, then we can look to change that, let's say 18 months and review the options.
Right.
All those in favour of putting that scheme forward? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Hopefully the staff will enjoy it.
Yeah.
Make sure that.
Yeah. And then once we look at employee reward system, that is there as a platform to use should we want to.
Definitely be promoting it a lot for
Yeah.
usage to get the most out of it.
Yeah, let's utilise it in as much as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Platform. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed, for making a proposal.
Thank you.
Good man.
I don't think there were any bad options there.
No, that's the
There
thing.
were
Yeah.
no bad
Yeah,
options.
absolutely.
Item 7, development and performance review policy. Making Nikki do all the work.
We've had a look at our was an appraisal policy and some one-to-one templates that we'd received, and we're trying to make it a more holistic approach to development and performance with our employees. We also wanted to ensure that it wasn't completely disjointed and that annual reviews were looked at in between. Originally, we looked at a formal review quarterly, but we've spoken to managers, got lots of feedback, and we're proposing that we have a annual review and a 6-monthly review, just to keep those objectives, things in mind, and tweak them as necessary. We've also ensured that our values are added into the process. We've made the one-to-one form. We've taken some different ideas again from our managers, and we've tried to align all so one rolls on to the next. It makes the process easy for managers to hopefully hold the meetings and record them, but also for employees to see where they fit within the organisation. We have also incorporated a prep form for the individual to complete prior to the formal reviews, which means that the onus is on the employee as well, to come with some ideas. And yes, hopefully, because we've sort of consulted with the managers, hopefully we've got their buy-in. They seem really positive about it when we spoke to them last week.
And yeah, again, thank you for all the work that you and the team put into this. I'm aware that the previous form wasn't quite up to scratch, so it's really good to see this has come together. Just to point out, I can't remember which document it was in when I was looking through it. One of them still did refer to quarterly. One of them still referred to your quarterly reviews, but I'm sure it's a quick fix. But, do any of the other members here, Councillor Deakin?
Yeah, I think it also looks great. So I think it's brilliant. I think you're right about people keeping in touch with it. So like with employment, when you do an appraisal once a year and you've actually forgotten the form you go back to next year, and it's just all of it. You don't really keep track of it. So I think definitely the kind of drumbeat rhythm of just checking in against what we said we would do. So I think 12 months, 6 months, it feels about right. Given the time frame you specified, if it's roughly in the council year, so springtime, April sort of time, you can almost, I think, combine the 6-month one with the skills audit.
Yeah.
So that could all be just one process rather than then another form. I would make that part of the 6-month review.
Yeah.
Let's just have a skills audit at that point, because it just feels like that they sit together nicely. One of the things that I'm always conscious of, especially as we're kind of hybrid working now, and I did look at the form, I can't remember it in detail, is I think collaboration is really important in the team. So I'd love for people to be constantly thinking about, and in that appraisal, where they've collaborated really well, both within their service area and possibly across as well. Because I just think that will be one of the things that catches us out more than anything as a hybrid workforce, is not collaborating well enough as a team, as a joint team. So I think just getting that in there, I think just as we continue with home working and things, that's going to be really important. But I think it looks great.
I'm the impossible one. She's managed to get all the managers to agree to a thing. Done very well.
Thank you. That, I mean, that is the key thing. There's no point us coming up with a scheme and applying it from the top down if none of the staff really want to buy into it. So
Yeah.
if the teams are already on board with this process and the questions that are being asked and the format of it, that's fantastic, because otherwise it's a slightly meaningless process. That's really encouraging. Thank you. Do we have any other questions from panel? Otherwise, I'm really happy to propose this one myself, that we adopt this policy and the accompanying documentation. Are you seconding, Sue? Fabulous. Councillor Lees. All those in favour? Very much. And yeah, thanks again for done a lot of work over the last couple of months. It's really appreciated. Moving on to item 8, learning and development update. Would anyone like to give a summary?
Do you want a break?
Yes.
Would you like to
Really?
do it? It's your document. I feel like you're doing a lot of the heavy lifting. I don't mind.
I don't mind. It's so basically it's just an overview of our headlines. When we had our agenda setting meeting, we spoke about how our workforce has really grown, and actually now these sorts of meetings, really the headlines are the important bits. So we've got lots of leadership management training going on at the moment, including an opportunity for the senior managers to complete the Institute of Leadership and Management Award or certificate as part of the South West Council's offer. We had a brilliant team building day in August. Was it August or beginning of September? At Somerset Adventures, where it just
You got very well.
we got absolutely drenched, but it sang through how much everybody was just pulling together, positive faces, nobody moaned, and it just demonstrated how much that we are just completely dedicated to the cause. I think we had such a great day, and our next team building event will be taking place on the 22nd of October. I think you are aware, each service is taking on one of those events, and that means the service has to design and deliver on the event. We've had 3 apprentices start with us in September, which has been absolutely fantastic. Our finance apprentice is through Yeovil College, and she's settling in brilliantly. Our 2 maintenance apprentices are at Bridgewater and Taunton College, and we had on their second day pictures of them installing
Hand wash.
it was that hand wash, and
Please.
they're just so super positive and just really engaged. It's lovely to have them as part of our team. And we're looking forward to recruiting our democratic services apprentice as well to start in November. IHASCO pretty much first few days for all new starters are taken up with IHASCO training. We've got a real push for managers, for employees to do that prior to sort of sending them off, and it's giving them that breathing space to get that e-learning done prior to starting work. And as I've said there, we've been reminding managers and staff to complete IHASCO training, plus we put it into our one-to-one forms. And finally, I've just outlined a bit about the skills audit as well.
That all sounds good. Thank you very much. Councillor
Yeah,
Deakin?
so I just compliment, on the, so I think the ILM certificates is great, that I'm just going after that. I might just miss this, I'm sorry. What was the South West Council's offer? Are we part funding that with them, or?
So are we pot funding them?
Yeah,
Sorry.
the certifications, are we funding that exercise? We are.
Yes, the
Okay.
managers. Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
That's right, we know, yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine. That's not a problem. That's good. It's a good thing. It's not it's a good thing. That's a good thing that we're doing that. On the apprenticeships, just to sign, I think it's great that we've got apprentices in the team. I think that's brilliant. It's a really good thing for us to provide. I wondered, I don't know if we can set this in stone or not. I would love us to always have a target of X% of our workforce, our apprentices. So as we grow, we actually commit to also growing our apprenticeship numbers. So at the moment, it works out about 10%,
Yeah.
4 coming in out of 40, which it feels like a good ratio. I wonder if we looked up, we're going to be 50, actually, sure enough. I don't know if we can just set something that we'll always aim and have an ambition that at least 10% of our workforce, because we include them in our headcount, don't we? They are, so obviously we've got 40 members of staff, the apprentices are.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
what we can do as well is there's nothing to stop a current member of staff completing an apprenticeship either. So we can count that.
Yeah,
So
okay.
say, for example, yeah, I mean, you know, there's lots of different ways you can do apprenticeships now, sort of up, you know,
I
degree
do that
level.
within my current role.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You could do high level apprenticeships voluntarily.
Yeah, that's really nice. I wonder if we could set ourselves some just some goals around that. Only because I've got this personal view that I think apprenticeships are going to they're going to come back round and be the next, that are what everyone's going to want to do. Only my brother's 10 years younger than me, and he can't the thought of going to university for 3 years and not earning money. I just don't think it's where the next generation coming through are going to be thinking. I think apprenticeships and in the workplace, learning and earning. I think it's just, so if we can be one of the best providers of that in the town, we're in a great position to attract really good talent.
I think as a career advancement opportunity for existing staff, those high level apprenticeships as a way of earning and learning at the same time, you can do degree level apprenticeships.
Yeah.
Whilst working based on your current work, which is a great way if we've got existing team members who want to skill up and advance themselves. Being able to support that is actually fantastic.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And Bridgewater Schools College are one of the leading providers in the country. We're so lucky to have them here. So yeah, we should make the most out of them.
Okay, essentially that was just to note, so no vote required. Just checking. Item 9 is the access to information motion to exclude the press and public, because the following item may be confidential. I think we need to pass the resolution. We can still decide afterwards whether or not whether we do need to exclude the public, but I think we should vote now. So I've got to read out all the long words. Wish me luck. During discussion of the following item, agenda item 10, it may be necessary to pass the following resolution to exclude the press and public, having reflected on the presumption in favour of openness. This decision may be required because consideration of this matter in public may disclose information falling within one of the descriptions of exempt information in Schedule 12A to the Local Government Act 1972. The committee will need to decide whether, in all the circumstances of the case, the public interest in maintaining the exemption outweighs the public interest in disclosing the information. Recommendation is that under section 100A(4) of the Local Government Act 1972, the public be excluded from the items of business, agenda item 10, on the grounds that it involves the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraph 3, respectively, of part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Act, namely information relating to the financial or business affairs of any particular person, including the authority holding that information. Congratulations to anyone who followed and understood that paragraph in full. It's one of the wordiest that we have to do, but I'm proposing? All those in favour? Thank you very much. We will carry on, but my understanding is that we don't automatically exclude the public at this stage, but we